essay pleasure to accompany you in today. Have you ever heard of a Chinese monk who shocked the entire Western world? This person once tamed even the dragon, took monastic vows, and upheld the three jewels. He is one of the 10 most outstanding disciples of the mysterious illusory monk. He is hailed as the first to lay the foundation for spreading Buddhism in the United States. When he first went to the United States alone, he lived in a cramped basement, yet he was a pioneer in spreading Buddhism there. Not only that, he is also considered the foremost figure in introducing modern Buddhism to the West. To Americans, he is the patriarch of Zen Buddhism. After his nirvana, during the 10-hour cremation, over 4,000 relics appeared, leading believers to believe he was the incarnation of a bodhisattva. He himself established the world's largest Buddhist holy land, the city of 10,000 Buddhists. Even outstanding students at Harvard University once knelt and earnestly requested to take monastic vows under his guidance. Throughout his life, he refused to change his nationality, and before his nirvana, he was said to have secretly returned to China to attend his own memorial service, standing silently aside watching his disciples weep and mourn. That person is Venerable Master Hsuan Hua, the legendary monk who planted and flourished the seeds of Buddhism in the West. He is honored as the world's #1 monk, one of the 3 greatest monks of China. Some revere him as a living Buddha, while others criticize him as a heretic monk who went against traditional teachings. In Taiwanese media, he once openly criticized 2 renowned Dharma masters, Master Xing Yun and Master Shu Yun, leading to Master Shu Yun publicly refuting him, calling him the leader of a cult. In the public, some also attacked him as a fraudulent Dharma teacher, a person who fabricated deities and saints. Amidst these myriad conflicting opinions, what kind of person was Venerable Master Hsuan Hua really, and what little-known stories did he carry? Today, let us unveil the mysteries of this controversial yet great monk to better understand his extraordinary life. On April 26, 1918, Venerable Master Hsuan Hua was born in Shuangcheng County, Heilongjiang Province, into an ordinary family. His secular name was Bai Yushu, also known as Yu Pai. His lineage belonged to the Manchu Plain Yellow Banner. At that time, northeast China was a place of fertile farmland yet entangled in the turmoil of the times. The people there were constantly seeking spiritual solace amidst social instability. As the 4th child in a poor family, Bai Yushu displayed intelligence and a love for books from a young age. His parents were moral people with strict upbringing, especially his mother, a devout Buddhist laywoman. Her compassionate and virtuous heart planted the first seeds of Buddhism in his young soul. Deeply influenced by his mother, Yushu was sensitive to the suffering of sentient beings and imbued with the truths of life from a young age. At age 11, a chance experience profoundly impacted his inner world. He witnessed a neighbor's child pass away helplessly with his own eyes. That scene vividly illustrated the fragility of life, giving him a direct and profound understanding of the cycle of birth and death. From then on, the aspiration to leave home and seek the truth of human existence began to sprout in his heart. To show filial piety to his parents, at age 12, Bai Yushu began bowing to them every morning and evening. Sometimes up to 830 bows over 5 hours, regardless of cold or heat. This filial devotion moved not only his relatives but also earned the admiration of the entire village. His nickname was Bai Shaoqi, little. Additionally, he vowed to heaven and earth to become a sage, hoping to be imbued with wisdom and principles from higher beings. At age 15, the biggest step in his life arrived. He took Venerable Master Changji as his teacher, formally becoming a lay Buddhist. But taking refuge was only the beginning of his journey to propagate Buddhism. Without understanding the scriptures, how could one transmit the Dharma? Therefore, while studying the Dharma, he was determined not to neglect secular education. Naturally intelligent and diligent, he gradually became well-versed in the 4 books and 5 classics, as well as Buddhism. Under the meticulous guidance of Venerable Master Changji, he delved deeply into meditation and proper cultivation methods. Persisting diligently for 4 years by age 19, he faced the greatest shock of his life. His mother passed away suddenly. From here, Venerable Master Suan Hua's journey of cultivation and spreading Buddhism began to take challenging turns. But it was also glorious. The pain of losing his mother plunged Venerable Master Suan Hua into extremes. That event not only caused him grief, but also made him deeply understand the impermanent and suffering nature of human existence. From then on, he determined to practice spiritual cultivation to find the path of transcendence. For 3 consecutive years, he knelt in the cold snow at his mother's grave, demonstrating infinite filial piety. During that time, he made 18 great vows with a wish to liberate himself, liberate others, and liberate all sentient beings. Not long after his mother passed away, on exactly Buddha's birthday, the 8th day of the 4th lunar month, he made the important decision to leave home to seek the way. He sought out 3 elders and received tonsure from Venerable Master Shangji Shaji. Officially abandoning secular life and entering the path of sincere spiritual cultivation. From this point on, his life was completely dedicated to the Buddha Dharma. During the mourning period, he once dreamed of the 6th patriarch Wei Neng manifesting spiritually. That patriarch spoke with him, entrusting him with a great responsibility, saying that in the future he would go to the West to teach countless sentient beings, as numerous as the Ganges sands, beyond reckoning. The 6th patriarch said this would be the time when Buddha Dharma would flourish in the West. This prophecy from then on became like a sacred seal, always present in his mind, urging him to continuously move forward. After leaving home, to elevate his practice, Venerable Master Zhonghua began traveling and wandering everywhere. He visited famous Buddhist sacred sites such as Wu Tai Mountain, Pu Tuo Mountain, and Ju Hua Mountain. At each place, he humbly learned, listening to teachings from eminent monks of the time, diligently studying cultivation methods, enriching his knowledge of Buddha Dharma and practical experience. Also during this process, the Venerable gradually opened some transcendent abilities, what in Buddhism is called spiritual powers. 4 times, during events of subduing demons, these abilities were clearly revealed, causing many eyewitnesses to be amazed. S.A. saying, those who hate him. But when there's sickness in the family, people cannot help but believe. In February 1945, when the Venerable was 27 years old, at a Dharma assembly in northeast China, he was expounding the sutras and teaching Dharma to his disciples, when one disciple came to report that his daughter had been seriously ill for 6 to 7 days, not eating, not drinking, talking nonsense all day. Her temperament unstable, getting angry without reason. The family had taken her to many doctors, but she didn't recover. Another disciple who had the ability to enter samadhi used his mind to observe and discover a female demon from the Shang dynasty. One possessing great power and avoidance techniques had possessed the young girl. This person advised the Venerable not to intervene as it would endanger his life. But the Venerable firmly resolved to save her, saying, even if I die, I must save my disciple's child. That is a teacher's responsibility. Moreover, I also want to save that female demon, hope to take refuge and avoid the evil path. Afterwards, the Venerable went with his disciples to the home. When entering the room, he saw the girl lying face down under the bed, head buried in a pillow, buttocks raised high in an extremely strange posture. Hearing someone arrive, she immediately screamed, mouth spewing unpleasant words, attitude clearly showing fury. The Venerable asked the family if anything strange had happened recently. The family recounted that about 7 to 8 days ago, they had encountered an old woman over 60 years old beside a desolate grave. She wore blue clothes, yellow pants, sitting and said she was looking for relatives. The villagers took pity and brought her to the village. When asked her name, the old woman pointed and said, I don't have any name, I am a dead person. Hearing this, everyone in the village was shocked. When people heard that old woman claimed to be already dead, they were all terrified, so frightened their spines went cold. They immediately avoided her and no one dared further contact. When she saw no one around her, she immediately used magic to tell straight into the home of Venerable Zhanghua's disciple. Entering the house, she immediately lay straight on the earthen bed like a corpse, completely motionless. The family had no other choice but to ask several villagers to help, using local customs to invite her to leave. However, just a few days later, that disciple's daughter suddenly fell ill. Right after hearing the story, the Venerable immediately understood the cause of the matter. He began reciting mantras, the Sharangala mantra to exorcise demons, quickly summoning that female demon. When entering the house, the female demon brought with her a terribly foul stench, appearing fierce, using magical weapons like a hat and hook to attack the Venerable. But no matter how hard she tried, she could not reach the old man. Every time she tried to run away, she couldn't escape because the Dharma protectors had surrounded her from all directions. After struggling in vain for a while, the female demon finally collapsed to the ground, weeping. The Venerable Master began to preach the Dharma and recite sutras for her to hear. Not long after, the female demon suddenly became enlightened and sincerely took refuge with the Venerable Master. He gave her the Dharma name Vajra, wish-fulfilling woman. From then on, she followed the Venerable Master, hoping to deliver sentient beings. However, the wind still carried an unpleasant foul odor. The Venerable Master had no choice but to arrange for her to practice in a secluded mountain. This story spread, making the local people even more faithful in the Venerable Master. Since then, any household encountering strange or evil occurrences would proactively invite the Venerable Master to exorcise and resolve them. His reputation spread far and wide, and he became a revered eminent monk in the northeast region. But that was not the end. In the following years, Venerable Master Zhuanghua continued to propagate the Dharma in the northeast, and other karmic affinities brought about more strange stories. Among his disciples, there was one who practiced very diligently. Within just half a year, he could enter samadhi while sitting in a. Later, that disciple even built a thatched hut for himself as a place for cultivation. When the thatched hut was completed, he invited his master to consecrate it and bestow blessings. The Venerable Master then brought 4 disciples along with him. Among the 4 accompanying disciples, 2 had opened their heavenly eye, a high state of meditation. They could see many invisible things. While the Venerable Master was in meditation, those 2 disciples approached and said, "Master, outside the thatched hut, there are 10 dragons kneeling, requesting to take refuge." The Venerable Master was half believing and half doubting, as there was a Dragon King temple outside the hut. He taught nonsense. Why would dragons take refuge with me? I don. The 2 disciples still insisted. They are transformed into humans kneeling outside, praying to take refuge under your guidance. At that time, it was early summer, the weather was hot, there had been no rain for a long time, the land was dry, and the plants were about to wither. The Venerable Master stepped outside to look, and indeed saw 10 people kneeling, who were the transformed dragons. He said, "If you want to take refuge with me, that's fine, but there is one condition. As dragons, you must take care of the rain and wind." Currently, the area around Harbin has been suffering from drought for a long time, and the people are complaining everywhere. If it rains tomorrow, then the day after I will allow you to take refuge. Otherwise, please go back. The dragons replied in unison. "We originally had the responsibility to make rain, but without the Jade Emperor's decree, we dare not act arbitrarily. If we violate this, we will be punished." The Venerable Master then responded, "Then you should report to the Jade Emperor that in Harbin, there is a monastic who is earnestly praying for rain within 3 days." Sure enough, the next day, heavy rain poured down. On the 3rd day, the Venerable Master performed the refuge ceremony for the dragons, giving them the collective Dharma name Auspicious. After taking refuge, the dragons often remained hidden, willing to deliver their own kind. Thanks to the support of the Dragon Clan and their relatives, from then on, no matter where they were, from Hong Kong, Bangkok to the city of 10,000 Buddhists in Australia, the Venerable Master and his disciples never lacked water for use. It was precisely such miraculous stories that later inevitably brought criticism to the Venerable Master, as people thought he was showing off supernatural powers. However, in 1947, at the age of 29, Venerable Master Zhuanghua continued to diligently practice. He decided to go to Budo Mountain to receive a full ordination, formally becoming a Bhikshu. After the ordination ceremony, he became even stricter with himself, understanding clearly that the responsibility to propagate the Buddha Dharma and deliver sentient beings rested on it. The following year, Venerable Master Xuanhua heard of the reputation of old Master Xu Yun, an outstanding master of modern Chan Buddhism. He deeply admired Xu Yun's profound Dharma wisdom and lofty virtue, so he traveled a long distance, leaving the northeast, and arduously sought out Nagua Temple in Guangdong, just to learn Chan methods from the great master. Old Master Xu Yun was a giant tree of contemporary Chan Buddhism, proficient in the teachings with pure conduct, and was deeply respected by both monastics and lay people. At Nagua Temple, Venerable Master Xuanhua began an extremely strict ascetic practice life. Every day, before dawn, he would rise early with old Master Xu Yun, attend the morning recitation, and then sit in meditation with mindfulness. In the quiet meditation hall, he discarded all distracting thoughts, focusing on contemplating his head. Guidance was like a bright lamp illuminating the path, helping him to increasingly understand the essence of Chan Buddhism, clarifying the mind and seeing one. Throughout his cultivation period at Nagua Temple, Venerable Master Xuanhua not only made significant progress in practice, but was also molded with a strong will and a compassionate, generous heart, deeply influenced by the humane teachings of Venerable Master Xu Yun. Xu Yun greatly valued his diligent cultivation efforts, thus appointing him as the dean of students of the Vinaya Institute. And in 1949, formally transmitted to him the lineage of the Taodan school, bestowing the Dharma name Xuanhua. From then on, Xuanhua became the 46th generation successor of Shakyamuni Buddha, and also one of the 10 great disciples of Venerable Master Xu Yun. This event held extremely important significance. On one hand, he inherited the aspiration to revive the Chan school and revitalize the precepts, "Be good yourself, do not disappoint expectations." If pondered carefully, these 8 characters conceal concerns about Xuanhua's strong and somewhat radical character. And indeed, this contradiction gradually became apparent in his later Dharma propagation journey. In 1949, Venerable Master Xuanhua crossed the sea to Hong Kong, a rapidly developing hub of Eastern and Western cultural exchange at the time. Buddhism in Hong Kong was also diversifying, but his Dharma propagation was not easy. The biggest obstacle was the language barrier. Cantonese was like a foreign script to someone from the Northeast like him. Yet, he did not lose heart but actively learned Cantonese and integrated into the local culture. With the vow to propagate the Buddha Dharma, he established a Buddhist lecture hall in Hong Kong. There, he used simple, understandable language, incorporating real-life examples to explain Buddhist scriptures. His Dharma teaching style was both lively, humorous, and profound, captivating both young and old with the wisdom of the Buddha Dharma he conveyed. However, during his teaching in Hong Kong, he also faced considerable debate and opposition. The Buddhist community there had many different sects and ideologies. Some traditional Buddhist organizations considered his teaching methods too novel, breaking ancient conventions. Venerable Master Xuanhua advocated that Buddhism must innovate and adapt to modern societal development. He proposed many new viewpoints and practice methods, including simplifying ritual ceremonies, emphasizing cultivation through inner awakening rather than external ritual forms. This viewpoint provoked strong opposition from conservatives, who accused him of breaking precepts and rules. Nevertheless, he remained steadfast in his beliefs. In reality, the effectiveness of his Dharma propagation was proven, as more people understood and accepted Buddhist teaching. Additionally, he actively participated in charitable social work, urging followers to donate to charity, helping impoverished areas, and providing support in healthcare and education. These humanitarian deeds gradually earned him the respect and affection of many people. During his Dharma propagation in Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, he once overheard a group of foreigners lamenting, "It's a pity that there is no Buddha Dharma in America and Western countries. If only Buddhism could be welcomed there, how wonderful that would be." These words struck like a bell awakening a long-held dream, a dream where the 6th patriarch manifested and entrusted a mission. In the future, you will harmonize sentient beings in the West, as numerous as rivers beyond count. At that moment, he awakened. The West was a barren land for Buddha Dharma, where Christianity dominated and few knew of the Buddha. A bold and extraordinary vow was then deeply engraved in his heart. "I must go to America to propagate the Dharma," and this vow became a sacred journey of the rest of his life. In 1962, Venerable Master Hsuan Hua officially set foot in America, beginning his journey to spread Buddhism in the West. A difficult yet great journey that altered the flow of Buddha Dharma in this foreign land. The United States, a country where Christianity held a dominant position in spiritual life, was entirely unfamiliar territory for Buddhism. Before Venerable Master Hsuan Hua, the last significant sea crossing to propagate Dharma in the West was thousands of years ago, when Chan Master Jianzhan went to India. Upon arriving in America, he was completely alone, in a foreign land with no followers or acquaintances. Due to limited finances, he couldn't rent a regular home and had to live in a dark, damp basement like a tomb. He jokingly called himself the monk in the tomb, as his only companions at the time were rats. Yet, in such extremely harsh conditions, he remained optimistic, diligently reciting Buddha's name, meditating without pause. Western culture, American ways of thinking and living, were vastly different from the Eastern culture he was accustomed to. The language barrier made Dharma propagation even more challenging. But Venerable Master Hsuan Hua did not retreat, with unwavering determination and faith. He silently began the mission of propagating Buddha Dharma in this unfamiliar land. In the hour of the tiger, rumors spread that a monk from the East was living in a small hut, daily teaching the Dharma. At that time, Americans were mostly familiar only with Christianity and had not yet encountered Buddhist thought. But the simple, wisdom-filled teachings from the Venerable Master's mouth began to attract the attention of intellectuals, students, workers, and laborers alike. He taught the Dharma to the surrounding people every day, which gradually became his daily routine, lasting for 6 years. Until one day in 1968, a major turning point arrived. One day, as usual, while he was conducting activities and gatherings, 30 students from the University of Washington in Seattle came to see him. They expressed a deep interest in Buddhism and invited the Venerable Master to the university to hear a lecture. After the first lecture on the Shivamgama Sutra, which was inspiring, relatable, and clear, 5 American students immediately vowed to kneel and take refuge, asking to accept the Venerable Master as their teacher and these were the first 5 individuals in American history to be ordained in the Buddhist tradition. From then on, the Master's reputation spread, and faith was increasingly strengthened. As the number of disciples and followers grew rapidly, he decided to build temples in the U.S. as places to train monastics and spread the Dharma widely. From the time of his ordination, he made 3 great vows: to establish an educational system in Buddhism, to translate sutras, and to set up Buddhist institutions in America. Not long after, he successfully fulfilled all 3 of those vows. He founded the Buddhist Association of North America in San Francisco, built Gold Mountain Monastery in 1976, and then Gold Wheel Monastery in 1975. Notably, he established the City of 10,000 Buddhas in California, which became the headquarters for Chinese Buddhism in America. The City of 10,000 Buddhas is the largest temple in the U.S., not only a place for practice but also a comprehensive Buddhist education, with a training system from elementary school to university, including classes for monastics, lay practitioners, Chinese language, English, and sutra translation. It has also been a cradle for training numerous monastics and lay people with solid foundations in the way. At the City of 10,000 Buddhas, the Venerable Master set strict rules for emerging from the mud. They would go to the fields to grow vegetables, farm, or participate in construction and maintenance within the city. According to the Master, labor is part of practice, helping to cultivate endurance and a spirit of unity. And more importantly, it brings practical experience with the spirit of the Dharma. To help more Americans understand Buddhism, he actively sat out of the temple, going to schools and communities to organize Dharma talks and cultural activities. He used simple, understandable English to explain basic concepts like cause and effect, compassion, and letting go. He also shared his own experiences in practice to inspire faith and motivation in listeners. Not only did he teach the Dharma, but he also devoted much effort to sutra translation work. In 1973, he founded the International Translation Institute on Washington Street in San Francisco. There, he and his disciples translated hundreds of Buddhist sutras and his lectures into English and other languages. Although this work was extremely arduous, consuming time and energy, he persistently carried it out. Believing that only by accessing the original sutras could Westerners truly understand the genuine wisdom of the Dharma. As his influence in the American Buddhist community grew, controversies also began to arise, with the most debated being his views on gender equality in practice. In Buddhist tradition, discrimination against female monastics has long existed. Some believe that women cannot attain the same levels as men. But the Venerable Master firmly rejected this view. He believed that the Dharma is for liberating all sentient beings, who are inherently equal, without distinction of gender, race, or species. To him, all are sentient beings in a great universe and equally capable of attaining Buddhahood. Alongside his great achievements, the Venerable Master's methods of spreading the Dharma were sometimes seen as too radical by some. His vigorous promotion of Buddhism in America inevitably clashed with local culture and religions. Some questioned his motives, thinking he was trying to change the religious landscape in the United States. However, the Venerable Master always maintained that the purpose of propagating the Dharma was not to replace beliefs, but to bring peace to the mind and awaken wisdom in people. He once said that the Buddha does not distinguish by country or skin color. All sentient beings have Buddha nature and the wisdom to escape suffering and seek happiness. And this mission of spreading the Dharma must be shouldered by someone. It was through such daily perseverance that he inspired more and more people. At the city of 10,000 Buddhists, an interesting event occurred that devotees still recount to this day. It was on the night of June 20, 1982. While the assembly was circumambulating the Great Hero Hall, they suddenly discovered a small snake, about 3 to 4 feet long, with patterned skin, lying beside the hall's door. Many people sat back in fear, some suggested driving it away. But the Venerable Master Suan smiled and said, "All sentient beings possess Buddha nature. This snake has come here to draw near the precious temple and listen to the Dharma sound. You're not driving it." Strangely, the snake did not move at all, even though hundreds of people were passing by around it. It lay still, very gentle and without any ferocity. The Venerable Master ascended the Dharma seat, saying, "Let it listen to the Dharma." As soon as he finished speaking, the snake immediately crawled into the main shrine, circling from left to right as if circumambulating the Buddha once. Then settled right in front of the Dharma seat, quietly listening. The Venerable Master then expounded, "All sentient beings possess Buddha nature. All have the potential to become Buddha, only because of one deluded thought that gives rise to evil karma through body, speech, and mind, thus drifting in the sea of suffering and rebirth. Sentient beings are not only what the ordinary eye can see, but also include ghosts, spirits, celestial beings, demons, and..." He said, "We must treat all equally. Even a snake is part of the great assembly of sentient beings. Its head can transform, capable of flying and concealing its form. Snakes may be one of the 8 classes of Dharma protecting deities mentioned in Buddhism." Afterwards, the Venerable Master continued expounding, "The world has 2 opposing forces, one is good, one is evil. Those who practice good accumulate merit, can become immortals, saints, bodhisattvas, or Buddhists." The story of the snake listening to the Dharma is vivid evidence of Venerable Master Suan's compassionate heart and penetrating wisdom, a shining example of equality and undiscriminating love for all sentient beings. That is the true quality of a high monk. In 1995, the Venerable Master's health declined. When he was taken to the hospital, the heart monitor suddenly stopped working. A worried disciple asked others, "Has our master passed away?" The other calmly replied, "In 3 minutes the heartbeat will return." Indeed, 3 minutes later, the electrocardiogram reappeared. Later, that disciple said, he had no supernatural powers, but the Venerable Master had told him in advance. At that time, the Venerable Master was still standing nearby, carefully observing the disciples' reactions like a mischievous child. On June 7, 1995, Venerable Master Suan passed away at the city of 10,000 Buddhists, ending his extraordinary life. His body was cremated for a full 10 hours and produced over 4,000 relics of various colors, considered evidence of his spiritual achievements. The funeral took place in an extreme grief from thousands of disciples and devotees. Many cried until they fainted, Some with supernatural powers even saw the venerable master walking among the assembly, playfully observing as if attending his own funeral. Years after his passing, stories still circulate about venerable master Suan Hua manifesting in real life. For example, an elderly woman went to a bookstore in San Francisco looking to buy the Avatar saga. Not finding it, as she left the store, she found a monk waiting outside, who directed her to the city of 10,000 Buddhas, even providing the phone number and website. Returning home, when she searched online, she was astonished to realize it was the monk in the photograph. The person she had just met was Venerable Master Suan Hua, who had passed away long ago. That is one of countless strange manifestation stories his disciples often recount. However, precisely because of such events, he was criticized as a false teacher, a spiritual fraud. Controversies largely centered around him frequently recounting supernatural events like female demons possessing bodies, ghostly realms, and bizarre stories like monkey ghosts, ghost monks. To many people, these things contradict the practical spirit of Buddhism. They believe he placed too much emphasis on supernatural powers, so little about core doctrines, making the Buddha Dharma appear deceptive and unbelievable. Additionally, during his 3 visits to Taiwan, especially the second one, he publicly criticized Venerable Master Xing Yan and Venerable Master Wei, called Fo Guangshan and Demon K, accused them of defiling Buddhism and said they should be eradicated completely. Those strong statements caused great shock, forcing Venerable Master Wei Li to publicly refute them, providing evidence of inaccuracies in the Venerable Master's statements, claiming he only used the myths to enhance personal prestige and deceive followers. Furthermore, his past disdain of the Moral Rearmament Association, an organization that operated during the Japanese occupation of Manchuria, also led to criticism of him as opportunistic, even being accused of being a traitor. Nevertheless, if viewed objectively, Venerable Master Suan Hua's contributions to modern Buddhism are undeniable. He founded Dharma-bound Buddhist University and the International Translation Institute, promoting the translation of hundreds of sutras into English and many other languages. He also established the city of 10,000 Buddhas and many large practice centers, trained countless monastics and lay people, and spread Buddhism throughout America and the world. Many of his disciples later became Buddhist studies professors at major universities or founded temples and practice centers in many places, continuing the mission of spreading the Buddha Dharma. These achievements, particularly in the fields of translation and education, have laid a solid foundation for the global development of Buddhism in modern times. As the 9th generation of a well-known sect and the founder of a city of 10,000 Buddhas, the contributions of Venerable Master Suan Hua are truly undeniable. He once said that the establishment of a city of 10,000 Buddhas was a predestined cause from countless kalpas, and the Dharma would eventually reach the West. And indeed, through the unceasing efforts of him and his disciples, hundreds of Buddhist books were produced, spreading the essence of Buddhism everywhere. From a practical perspective, his merits and virtues are truly immeasurable and boundless. What are your thoughts about this eminent monk? Please leave your opinions in the comments section below. Thank you for watching the video.